DeAndre Swift is a good running back. He doesn't get a lot of the national accolades like some of the other running backs do, but that kid can flat out step, and he can leave you in his dust as well. If he hits the hole, he's gone. You ain't gonna catch him from behind. So the Eagles got to make sure. Now Detroit is a professional team. They're going to make plays. Every team's going to make plays. You just want to make sure you minimize their big plays, and that's why I said if Gannon is so concerned about keeping everything in front of him, that tells me he's going to have the corners playing off more. That's not what I want to see, because a better quarterback, they're going to dink and dunk this team underneath all day. I don't care how good your front seven is. If you can't get a hit on the quarterback and he's dinking and dunking the ball 3 and 5 yards down the field, you got to flip the script. You got to do something different.
All right, so Detroit, guys, and let me give you defense first, and then we'll go over to offense, what they did in 2021. Of course, we know it was to say the least, it was a rough season for Detroit. I'm being kind, but they did play a lot of close games, as we pointed out a lot, and the Eagles game wasn't one of them. The Eagles won 44-6. They absolutely destroyed them in that game, and that was the game that really turned the Eagles season around, and it was a game that was leading into a bye week, which Detroit needed. Detroit played a lot better after that bye. But all in all, it was not a great season for Detroit. That's for sure. They were 3-13-1 on the season. All right. So numbers here from a Detroit standpoint. Defensively, points per game, they were second to last. They gave up almost 28 points per game, 27.5 versus the run, 135 on the ground. They were 28th. They're not a good team against the run versus the pass. 244.7, ninth, not bad at all, right there. So there's a couple things. Sacks, they were right there with the Eagles. They were 30th. They had 30 sacks on the year, which was the third to last. Third down conversion, they were not good. They allowed third down conversions at a 29 percentile clip, 45.6%, which is 29th. They were not good there. So right. This appears to be a team that you should be able to run on, that if you do drop back, your quarterback should get a lot of time. But they did add Aiden Hutchinson. They added a couple other pieces here and there. They're in the second year of a system. That much we know. And how much things can change from year one to year two, that's for sure. And how much Dan Campbell's message, has gotten across to these guys. I wanted to read this to you guys, and you tell me. And this goes back to the debates that we have about how much playing time these guys get in the season. So this is from Tim McManus of ESPN. We've had Tim on the show. So this is a quote from Dan Campbell talking about how much getting these guys ready for the season. When you're talking about a 17-week season with pads, man, you got to get in some type of shape. You can't go from not hitting and only hitting 20, 30 reps in practice to all of a sudden you play 75 in your first 2 weeks. I think that you're asking for injury. Look, we did have a physical camp, but we tried to be smart about it too. We don't just bang our heads against the wall every day, but I do feel like once or twice a week, you really got to get after it to get pretty good. So, Barrett, I'll start with that one. Let's start with those comments right there.
I mean, you have to train your body to be physical like that. You can't just – there's only a certain amount of people that can just turn it off and on. There's not many people can say, all right, I'm just going to go out there and become, a beast, every single play. That's something that has to be trained in you. You have to get used to being that way. A lot of guys aren't built like that. You have guys that go out there, and think they can just turn it on. No. Like Big V, he's not a guy who can just turn it on.
And he won't be playing, by the way. He's out the first
he's out. Yeah, he's out. There's just, you have to learn. You have to teach your body how to go out. They say the game is 80% mental and 20% physical. That's absolutely right, man. You got to train your mind to go past the threshold of pain, of fatigue, of just knowing how to go all out every single play. That's why I say I hope these guys are running the way you're supposed to be running. I hope that they're in shape enough to play an entirety of a game, because these guys got one series of live action. And that was a month ago.
Yeah.
That's just not, to me, it's just not enough. But, experts say that you go in healthier. But to me, that, you're going to get hurt. You can't stop yourself from getting hurt. You're going to get hurt regardless. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I just feel as though you got to go out there and ram head in order to get your body used to being that way. You know, that then here I am, you know, talking about that, and I get checked for CETE every year. But you know, your body just gets accustomed to being that way.
So what's your sense here? Go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
Dan Campbell has the old school mentality of practice with the new school practice requirements. You know, crisp and to the point, but he's making sure that he's getting his guys physically and mentally ready for what's to come. You know, a lot of these teams, you know, they don't hit, and it shows when the games start. You know, Dan Campbell's making sure this guy's ready. Look, I want tackling. I want fast, furious action. I want drastic improvement from what we had a year ago. And I like that. But, you know, there's a risk with that, as Barry says. You know, you go to the extreme, all of a sudden you start losing bodies. Now, from what we can see, Detroit is coming into this game relatively healthy. They didn't have any significant losses. But I like the fact that he's got these guys out there grunting, sweating, you know, hands on knees. You know, he's not letting up on them. And I don't think he should, considering the season they had. He's basically sent the message, this is a new year. We're not going to be that same Detroit Lions team we were a season ago. Does that equate to double the amount of wins, which would be 6 for them compared to 3? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely more aligning with the old school approach. Guys like Sirianni, guys like McVay, we could run through others. They go the full opposite way, man. And it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up happening here.
Well, let me tell you this also. You know why Dan Campbell's getting his guys going like that, and why they're going for more physical mentality? Because he doesn't have the athletes. He doesn't have the team.
He's going to have to out-tough them.
Yes, he's going to have to out-tough them, because you look at roster for roster, the Eagles are so far better as far as talent for talent,
right,
than that Lions team. And you know, this could be bulletin board material for this Lions team. They might take this and run with it, but I just think that they have an inferior roster to what the Eagles have right now. You know, I mean, on paper, that's the way it looks. So how do you get past a team that has more talent? Sometimes you got to go and hit somebody in the mouth. You don't know how you're going to react when you first get hit in the mouth. And I think that's why he's going to have his guys thinking like that and playing like that, because they lack talent in a lot of places. They're going to go out there and out physical people. Can they match, you know, player for player, physicality to them? You look at Jason Kelce today in his press conference. He might have MF'd and FU'd and everything else for first time, you know, for a while, because he's sitting back thinking, letting everybody know, look, on paper means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. We haven't pissed a drop yet. We have done nothing yet to garner all this attention that we're getting. And this is what, you know, Kelsey's saying in so many words. I'm you know,
paraphrasing.
You know, but he said, you're right. They have done nothing. It has to be shown on the field. You know, don't talk to me about it. You know, you're talking me to death.
Right.
It has to go out on the field. You have to go out there and show it on the field. I've seen many teams, you know, Eagles teams, that on paper, they look amazing. Get out there, they do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't piss a drop. They do nothing. And then it ends up being a bad season. But then I've seen an Eagles team that was far inferior to a lot of teams.
Right.
But they took it, you know, that's where the dog mask come from. That's where, you know, nobody likes us. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? That type of mentality comes from. So, I mean, that's what the Lions are right now. Nobody likes us. We don't care. We're going to hit you in the mouth. We'll play tough brand of football. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, and I agree, Barry. I think Campbell's being smart, just trying to play every advantage he may have, because
absolutely
he's had a short deck. You know, he certainly doesn't have the same kind of ability they have. It makes a lot of sense. All right, let's go to the offensive side of this thing. So points per game, Lions didn't even average 20 points per game last year, guys. They were 25th at 19.1. In the run game, 110.9, which ranks 19th. In the passing game, 211 yards per game. That's 18th. Third down conversions, they were the second to worst team in the NFL last year. I mean, this is almost across the board. They were just garbage offensively. Now, Goff, think about this. I want to start with Goff. You go from the team that drafted you first overall, beautiful LA. You got to a Super Bowl with them. genius Sean McVay weapons all over the place to Detroit. That is a mental mind bleep, if you know what I'm saying. Okay.
Yep.
He may have been on his heels all of last year trying to recover from that, for starters. DeAndre Swift is a really talented guy, but he was banged up last year, and you didn't have him the whole year as far as the running game goes. Passing game is tied into Goff. I think they have a couple guys with some ability, but, I think a lot of guys learning too. They're young. St. Brown's young. Hawkinson's young. Some of the other receivers they have are young. They have a long way to go. This could be a very interesting leap year for them this upcoming season. You got Goff now in the second year of the system, having accepted his fate that he's in Detroit. I believe he's a free agent after this year too. I'd have to look at it. So there's a lot on the line for him to do well. You have some of those younger guys, in their second, third year now, a little bit more accustomed to what, NFL football is. So, I think they're in line to take a jump, but I'm not sold. Like they don't scare me. Let me put it to you that way. This is not a scary offense by any stretch. Let me take that back. So there's a potential out in 2023 in Goff's contract. He's making about 15 this year. But there is an out, but if they don't exercise the out, he's back next year and the year after that. Anyway, but go ahead. You guys want to jump in on the Lions offense?
Well, yeah, I mean, they got a lot. They have done nothing because they had nothing. When you look at their roster, they were bad, man. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, when I look at it, they have a pretty good offensive line. Look at their offensive line. Tyler Decker's first rounder. Frank Ragnow, he was a first rounder. Penei Sewell, first rounder. They have, some quality there. Jonah Jackson is really good. Tommy Kramer, now he's the X factor. He's the guy that they don't know about. That's where I think the weakest link in that offensive line is.
He's playing for Big V, right, Barrett?
Yes. Tommy Kramer's playing for Big V. He's the weakest link. They're going to need to make sure that they put big Fletcher Cox over him when they run that bear front, which is cover the center and both guards. And you put that one-on-one, that makes you one-on-one with Fletcher Cox. I'll take that all day and twice on Sunday. Or even put anybody on them one-on-one. So their offensive line is a top-tier offensive line. It's a top 7 offensive line in the league when Big V was there.
Wow.
But he's not there right now.
Top 7, huh?
Yeah, they're top 7. They're good across the board.
Mm-hmm.
But they just didn't have the weapons. Now, all right, St. Brown is probably their best weapon, and they say he's actually coming out of his shell. And then they got DJ Clark. DJ Clark is a versatile guy. He's a jack of all trades. He's a guy that you can put in and do all those gadget plays with. That's the type of receiver he is. After that, it's really slim pickings, man. Very, very slim pickings offensively. They have a really good tight end. TJ Hawkinson, he's gonna be the spur in this Eagles
the tight
defense.
end. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is really good. I mean, really good. And you talking about who's going to play safety, whether it's going to be CJ or whether it's going to be Avante.
Yeah.
You don't know who's going to play. I mean, somebody needs to be on him for sure. He needs to always have somebody around him or they bracket him because he is the threat against that defense. He can light up for you. Once he starts going, it's hard to stop the bleeding when you get the ball to him. And like you said, Rob, Jared Goff has a lot to prove. He's going to this thing. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? Nobody wants me. Let me just go out there and rip it. I'm just going to rip it and rip it.
Yeah. I'll show you guys who I was back in the day.
Yep, exactly.
Where they took me. Yeah. I think there is that. Just to your point, Barrett, last year in the game, Hawkinson, 10 catches, 89 yards. I mean, he was the only guy in the passing game who showed up. He played well.
You know why? He had to dump the ball off quick as he could because he was running for his life most of the game.
So 6 sacks we talked about.
Yeah. So Hawkinson was a safety valve. So he had to get rid of the ball to save himself from a lot of the bumps and bruises that he took. Officially he was sacked 5 times. How many more times did he get hit? I would love to see the stats of how many times he actually got hit. And because the Eagles built such a big lead on him, they were forced to pass the ball a lot more than they wanted to.
And he still only averaged 6.5 yards per completion.
Exactly. So That's why I can't wait to see. And we discussed this the other day, Rob. The one thing that jumped out at me about the Detroit offensive line Barrett just talked about was they have 3 first-round picks on that offensive line. Mm-hmm. So the offensive line, when healthy, is no slouch. DeAndre Swift is a good running back. He doesn't get a lot of the national accolades like some of the other running backs do, but that kid can flat out step, and he can leave you in his dust as well. If he hits the hole, he's gone. You ain't gonna catch him from behind. So the Eagles got to make sure. Now Detroit is a professional team. They're going to make plays. Every team's going to make plays. You just want to make sure you minimize their big plays, and that's why I said if Gannon is so concerned about keeping everything in front of him, that tells me he's going to have the corners playing off more. That's not what I want to see, because a better quarterback, they're going to dink and dunk this team underneath all day. I don't care how good your front seven is. If you can't get a hit on the quarterback and he's dinking and dunking the ball 3 and 5 yards down the field, you got to flip the script. You got to do something different.
That's what's going to be fascinating, right?
Yes.
It is, because we know how he always brings up, don't want to give up the big plays, this and that. He's doing that. He's saying that, but also everybody in the city wants him to be more aggressive. So how much of that is he just going to, hey, well, I'll let it, my front four, whatever scheme they're running, the odd man front, my front, get home. I don't need to send extra people. So that's when the fans are going to start losing their mind.
So, no question about it. No question about it.
If he's not aggressive, I'm saying.
You better be known as a defense for making the quarterback get on his heels and running for his life every week, because anything less than that is unacceptable to the Philadelphia fan base.
There's no question. I mean, look what we have. Look what we have to have from our defense. I mean, 2/3 of all the resources allocated for this year was to the defensive side of the ball.
Oh yes, major heavy hitters. Yes. What I'm saying? Not minor things, heavy hitters.
Exactly. So that's a lot of money they spent on the defensive side of the ball. When you're the cook and you've been given those ingredients, you better damn sure make sure you put out something that's very good. It better be very appetizing. And we know how we are here in Philadelphia. We want to have expectations, especially when we spent the money and done the things we spent as far as resources on the defensive side of the ball. And tell you the truth, I'm not thinking anything other than, all right, he got what he wanted. Now he's going to make it happen. You got to call him more aggressive. The defense will take on the persona that he gives. And I heard him say yesterday, it might have been the other day, that he's got guys now. If he calls a call, he can feel confident that if it's the wrong call, his athletes are good enough to go out there and make it happen anyways. Mm-hmm. That's the confidence level he has in his guys. Yeah. And that to me brought out, okay, then he's ready now, because he believes in his guys that even if I call a wrong call, I got them horses out there that can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I got the horses out there that can go out there and have my back if I call the wrong call. These guys are good enough to take over a game. So I'm happy that he thinks like that.
I am too. And I think early on, he's going to leave it on those guys. He's going to say to himself, man, I got Hassan Reddick, I got Brandon Graham, I got Fletcher Cox, I got Javon Hargrave, I got Kaiser White, CJ Edwards. Go eat, boys. I don't need to send extra pressure early, at least. But yeah, I mean, that's the part where it's going to be interesting if they are. And I think they will. I think that's good. I think they're going to be a real good defense. I truly do.
Hey, Rob, Joey B has a good question that I'd like to hear your answer to.
Sure.
If you can see it. He's asking you a question.
Will I grow a goatee by November and color it green? No, I expect him to be in first. Come on, Joe. No.
Come on, Rob. I was hoping you would say yes.
Yeah, they're going to be in first place.
Come on, Rob. Man.
Sorry. No.
Come on, Rob.
Yeah. First of all,
why not? Jalen Mills had green hair. Can't you just wear a green goatee for a week?
Pull it off. Jalen could.
Yeah. I saw Rob in the goatee. It's actually all right. I mean, he looks
a little salt and pepper.
Yeah.
The stash is okay. It's a little gray.
He looked like he just came down from the mountaintop with a goatee.
I did. I would look like that. Yeah, you're right. I agree with Kevin. I would look like a goblin or something, like a reverse goblin.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you Irish?
Yes.
Because you look more Irish when you grew the goatee, man. You look like you were Irish, man.
How about we just? All right. Let me put it this way. Maybe I'll grow a goatee. How about we don't have to go green on it? How about that? Would that be good? That's fair. That's not bad. It's a compromise.
That's not bad. Yeah. I like that.
All right, I'll get the facial hair. I'm the only non-facial haired one right now, so I got.
Let's see. So if the Eagles are in first place by the time November 1st hits,
yes.
you will grow a goatee for the rest of the season.
Okay.
Now think about. Now wait. Let me ask you this first. How long would it take you to grow a goatee?
Oh, not long. Yeah,
Okay.
not long. I could grow up in pretty quick order.
Why are you messing with that man's household, man?
I know, man.
No, I'm just asking him. I'm just asking a question here.
Yeah,
it's a free country. I can ask a question.
I'll abide by our agreement. I'll do it. You guys know I'll do it. I ate my disgusting Cheerios with milk. I do what I say I'm going to do. I'm not a welcher.
Hey, John Dickerson, that ain't never happening. Will D-Gun dress as Prince if the Eagles lose the Vikings game? That ain't gonna ever happen.
You in some kind of purple, kind of thing. Yeah.
Never meant to cause you any problems.
I love my favorite Chappelle show ever is the time they played basketball against Prince and his coach, Charlie Murphy.
Oh, dude.
And the Revolution, they're all in the same outfits they would wear on stage. Prince is in the purple, Yeah, it's great.
What he said, you guys want some pancakes?
You want some pancakes? I'm bored. Let's play basketball. I gotta listen to the music.
I just thought of one.
Yeah.
If the Eagles are in first place by November 1st, Rob has to wear Cheerios earrings.
Oh my God. What are you trying to do? I agree to a goatee. Now I got to wear Cheerio earrings?
A light just came down from the heavens and it gave me an idea.
Let's play it by ear. Let's get to October and let's see where we are.
Just earrings, get your ears pierced.
Get to the first game? We already did the first game.
I know. We haven't even played a game and I'm already.
Right.
Look, I'm just saying pierce your ear and put Cheerios on there. That's all I'm saying.
Now you're piercing ears?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Rob is just a straightforward guy.
What am I doing? I'm going to sit here and laugh my butt off if you do it. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Exactly what I'm doing.
We know that. Oh my God.
Hey, but you know what, Rob? I mean, I do trust you, man. Because usually, it's black folks say if you can't trust a guy with no facial hair.
That's right.
It's like a saying. You know what I'm saying? But we trust you though. We trust you. We trust.
I'm an honorary brother.
There you go.
I remember one time we did something like this on Breakfast on Broad on Barrett and I's TV show. So I can't remember if it was a full goatee or I had to grow a mustache. I don't even remember what it was.
It was a goatee, yeah.
All right.
So goatee.
Yeah, and then part of it was shave it off on the air. So the problem was, someone hands me a razor and a freezing cold bowl of water to shave. I had to shave the goatee off on the TV show. And it's like, what are we doing here? This doesn't work this way. And I'm trying, and I go along with it. My face is destroyed. I'm broken out. Like after I shaved it off, I had a ring
you actually did it.
Mouth.
You did it.
I still did it like a moron. But they were like, you said you do it
on
the air. Here's your bowl.
No, cold water. I wouldn't have done
it. First of all, our studios. You remember how Barcade had a studio? Yeah. Barcade would have 66 degrees in there. We come in, we see our breath. That's how cold it was in there. And it's the wintertime. He wanted 66 degrees.
Yeah.
It was
so cold. Like we had to beg for little heaters under the desk. I'm telling you. And then it became like a safety hazard in case there was a fire.
Right.
The whole thing. And we're like, oh my God, man, is this hard?
And Jillian, for the first time, Jillian went against, protocol. Jillian Mealy was straight line,
yes.
You do everything straight line, very professional. She taught me the professional side of being a broadcaster. And she said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got to have a heater under here. So she bucked the rules and had a heater under there anyways. I'm like, dang. And that was the first time I ever seen her buck anything.
Yeah, it's true. But it was damn.
Remember when we all had heaters under our desk in the newsroom?
Right. Yes.
And then over the building maintenance told her we couldn't do it anymore. We did it anyway.
Yes. Right.
And one time Leslie Goodell burned up my space heater, man. Caught on fire. She didn't have one. She asked me if she could use mine. And I still don't understand this. So I let her use mine, and we went out and did a show together, sports night show together. She turned it off. Thank goodness she turned it off before we went to the set, and she set it on top of her desk. And we came out. People were like, "Yo, you hear what happened? Now what happened? The thing caught fire while it was off, and was burning. Somebody saw it and put it out. Yeah, wow. I was like, how did it burn if she turned it off? But you know what? Here's what I'm thinking. There was so much dust under our desk. Remember, dust was
It was
everywhere.
gross. It was never
So,
cleaned.
I think dust got into it, and somehow the coils were still hot, and the dust just.
That goes up. That
Busted it,
dry,
yeah.
anything dry like that
dude.
is going up quick.
Yes.
Combusted. Yeah.
100%.
That was crazy, man. I mean, it used to be so cold in the building, period. But I couldn't believe that in the wintertime they had the air conditioner on. And poor Rob, Rob doesn't have any meat on his bones anyway.
I know, man.
Freezing to death.
Yeah, and it was a whole thing. Like they didn't want to hear it. And,
I'm surprised y'all let Barkan get away with that, man.
Well, the other problem was we're in there literally we would go in at 6 a.m., which a lot of times, especially
we'd be in at 4.
Right, we're in there.
Show at 6.
Yeah. Show at 6 in the studio where it's still dark, and then at least you'd have some daylight creep in some certain areas in the studio. So by the time it was like later, it wasn't quite as bad for others, but for us, it was freezing. And no, whatever. And nobody cared. Nobody cares. Nobody cares now. Nobody cared then.
Hey, you guys know me. I live to break office rules. I live to break office.
You're habitual at that, bro.
You are. You're lying.
Hey, look, if I didn't agree with it, D Gun got to do what D Gun got to do.
Exactly. I needed D Gun in those heat negotiations back in the day. We're coming back. We will dig into the quarterback questions that Derek has regarding.
Oh, we're gonna do that now.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do NFC contender questions. There's a bunch of other stuff NFL wise that contract extensions, some other things, some announcements, who's starting, who isn't, all that good stuff. A little later, we'll do some birthdays, which are decent. I have a good on this date for you guys.
Good.
Okay. A good on this date. And then little Phillies as well. Phillies win on a walk-off last night by Gene Segura, which we'll dig into.
Ooh.
And by the way, this, just in, if people aren't paying attention to it, the Mets and the Braves are tied for first place.
Yeah, baby. He's
heating up. Coming on strong. All right, we'll get back.
Kevin Savard, you bring up a good point.
What do you say?
I don't break my wife's office rules. I do not. Yes.
There's a
when
line.
When I leave this office, I have to close the blinds a certain way. You think I'm kidding? No, I ain't kidding.
Derek cleans up after
I do.
There's a chair right back where it should be.
Yeah,
yes.
I have to put it. I'm telling you, because she'll bring it up. I guarantee it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the only rules I don't break. But when it came to work rules, I broke every work rule I could.
Yes. Well, that's you rebel when you get out of the house.
You took me down that rabbit hole too. So.
Yeah, you were a bad influence on Barrett.
Hey,
took me down that rabbit hole.
Like Nino Brown said, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me.
That's it. I like it. Right. I like it. All right, we'll keep it rolling when we get back. Barrett, Derek, Rob, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk Razor technology. IT infrastructure environments are more complex and heterogeneous than ever before. Consequently, teams struggle to respond to pressing issues with the speed necessary to promote positive business results, and the data that powers predictive monitoring and automation is left unexploited. Razor Technology addresses this challenge with a holistic approach that connects every part of an organization's technology assets, enabling proactive and secure IT operations without sacrificing the agility that drives innovation. Razor Technology automates monitoring and management to bolster IT teams that are feeling stretched thin. And it improves auditing and reporting procedures so that actionable insights find their way to the leaders that need them most. Save time and energy and money on your IT and cloud services. Secure your organization with leading end-to-end infrastructure solutions by calling Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com, razor-tech.com.